long time now, the International Military Tribunal at Nuremberg has been trying to get an answer to the question, is there a crazy man in the house? The person so suspected, of course, is Rudolph Hess. At this very moment, I'm watching Hess from the broadcast booth above the courtroom floor, and I think you'd agree that he's either slightly nuts or a very good actor. Before coming to the microphone, I spent a couple of hours reading the reports from a number of distinguished physicians, neurologists, and psychiatrists. They were asked by the tribunal to examine Hess and evaluate his condition. Specifically, the court wanted to know two things. Is the defendant able to plead to the indictment, and is the defendant sane or not? The British report details Hess's 4-year career in England under British observation. He is a psychopathic personality, they say. He suffered 2 losses of memory, the second beginning last February and continuing to the present. The British think that Hess's current condition will clear when circumstances change. He is definitely not insane in the strict sense. Another report by 2 Americans, a Canadian and a Frenchman, also concludes that Hess is not insane. His hysterical behavior began as a defense against his circumstances in England, and it will continue as long as he remains under the threat of imminent punishment. A third report by the 3 Russians and a Frenchman discovers that Hess, prior to his flight to England in 1941, did not suffer from any kind of insanity, nor is he suffering from it now. At the present time, the report concludes, he exhibits hysterical behavior with signs of a simulated or make-believe character, which, and get this, does not exonerate him from his responsibility under the indictment. From all this, therefore, it looks as though the law, in conjunction with medicine and psychiatry, plans to catch up with Brother Hess. The tribunal has decided to hear the whole matter thrashed out, once and for all, at 4 o'clock Friday afternoon. And then the prosecutors will lock horns with Hess's defense counsel. That will be just half an hour before Nuremberg is on the air for Mutual. Today, Assistant U.S. Prosecutor Sid Alderman was pouring it on in connection with Nazi participation in the internal affairs of Austria leading up to the Anschluss of 1938. Several extremely damning affidavits were introduced, including correspondence between Hitler and Franz von Papen, and a statement by George S. Messerschmitt, who was Consul General for the USA in Berlin until the middle of 1934. But when Alderman wanted to read another affidavit, by former Austrian Chancellor Kurt von Schuschnigg, the German defense counsels objected on the grounds that this affidavit was made the day before the trial began right here in Nuremberg. Why not bring Schuschnigg into court and let him tell the story in person, they pleaded. The tribunal had to take time out to figure that one, and the judges ruled in favor of not permitting Alderman to read the affidavit so long as Schuschnigg is immediately available. Although it went against the prosecution, it seemed like a fair decision. This is Leslie Nichols speaking from Nuremberg, Germany.